Did you know that University of Scranton, they did a research and they discovered that 92% of Americans who set their goals, they never achieve them. 92%, which means only 8% do. Welcome to Achieve. I'm your host, Wanda Martin, and I'm here to give you some good goal-setting strategies to help you to become a part of that elite number, the 8%. Now, in today's episode, I am super excited about it because there is a TV show that is rocking America, and it's called the Abbott Elementary. Well, guess what? I have the real Miss Abbott right here on my show with me, and so we're going to be talking about her life, the TV show, and also goal setting. So can you please help me to welcome to my show the real Miss Abbott, Joyce Abbott. Hi, Miss Joyce.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. I'm so excited to have you on my show today.
I'm excited to be here.
So look, I know everyone is excited to have you on the show as well. So can we go ahead and dive on into this conversation?
Yes, yes.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
First of all, I'm newly retired, yes. After serving 26 years at the Philadelphia School District. I'm a combat war veteran, a mother of one, and the namesake of the hit TV show, Abbott Elementary.
That is amazing. You know, everyone that I talk to, especially who's in the field of education, they love that show. I mean, that is like the top show that everyone is talking about. So can you tell me, how does it feel to have a show named after you?
I am just really humbly honored. It feels great. To answer your question, it feels great. That's a once in a lifetime for anyone, especially, you know, educators. But I'm honored, and it's just awesome. It's wonderful.
I know it is, and you're right. Not everyone can have a show.
Exactly.
Especially a hit TV show.
Right. Now, how many educators would love that?
Yeah.
I mean, they pour their heart, but to have this happen, it's still sinking in.
It's a blessing.
Yes.
So, okay, well, Miss Abbott, when the cast of Abbott Elementary, they won one of the Emmys. I mean, that was absolutely super exciting as well. How did that make you feel? I mean, what was your thoughts? Tell us about that.
I was like, amazing, record-breaking, because after one season, to be nominated for the amount of Emmys that they were, and even in the categories that they did not win, they were already winners, especially to the community of educators and her Philadelphia family, already a winner.
Absolutely.
But great, awesome.
Absolutely. So that meant a lot to you.
A whole lot. It meant a whole lot. I was up screaming.
Look, I think all of us were. We were up screaming at the TV.
I was definitely up screaming.
Exactly.
Just very proud. Proud of Quinta, proud of the entire cast.
Good, good. That's amazing. So, okay, so let's talk about this, you know, because it's all based on about education and school, the school system. So what did you do before you became a teacher?
I served 10 years in the United States Army. I worked in finance, and I also did a 10-month tour in the Persian Gulf War. And I came out, I was in one of the first cohorts of the Nationally Regarded Troops to Teachers program, where I obtained my master's in education, and then went on right into teaching.
Wow, okay. So what inspired you to teach? Or I don't know, maybe what or who? Was it someone that inspired you to teach?
You know what, teaching was always in, you know, my heart, always. Even though my undergraduate degrees in business and economics, teaching was always in my heart. My mother was with the district for many years. She was a teacher's assistant. But teaching was always at the forefront, just wanting to make a difference in young people's life, just making a difference and being an impact.
And you really have. I mean, look, again, you have a whole show named after you.
Wow.
So that's saying that you're definitely making an impact in the lives of, you know, of individuals, especially our youth. And so that's really good. So with that being said, and I know you had a lot of good relationships with all your students. Probably not all of them, but I'm pretty sure a good number.
Large majority.
A large majority, right? You had good relationship with them. But can you tell us, why do you think your influence over Quinta sparked her to name the show after you? Like, what was it about you guys' relationship?
Quinta, I know when Quinta first came into my class, she was very shy. She was timid because she was at a school with her mother from K through 5. Wow. So she was just getting away from her mom. But I really set the bar up for Quinta. I challenged her. I put her in leadership. she blossomed so much that she became our class spokesperson. Like the news would come in, and she became our class spokesperson. And she kept the goal set high, you know, never giving up on anything that she did. Even if she was to get an E or a C, she would be down on herself. No, 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 Quinta, just keeping her encouraged. And I think, you know, that stuck with her. Something stuck with her, you know, for her to still be, you know, inspired by something that I did during her time in my class.
So how you were with Quinta, were you like that with all of your students?
All of them.
Because I remember you said something from the standpoint of you wanted to make sure that your students did not leave out of your class without being on the correct reading and writing level. So can you tell us about that?
Just setting the bar very high. As far as below basic, even if students came to me below basic, I worked very hard to ensure that they had some level of success, because I would tell teachers, how can you have students in your midst all year and then at the end of the year, they have not grown? So for me, setting the bar high academically, personally, I did not have fights. The way they spoke, they had to speak in complete sentences. They had to have respect for each other. If they did something wrong, we're going to apologize before we leave. So just building that cohesiveness and teamwork.
Wow, that is awesome. I mean, because when you think about the education, like the schools today, you hear almost the total opposite.
Exactly.
You hear fights going on and the disrespect with the students and the teachers. And so how were you able to do that? Was that the drill sergeant in you coming? Was that the drill sergeant in you coming out in your classroom settings?
I would tell people my class was not in like a boot camp, although some people may. And just setting the expectation up there. Of course, my military, the discipline that I, or you know, in the military, had some impact on transitioning as I transitioned into the classroom. But just setting the bar high and believing in our children. They can act and they want to act correctly. They want to write correctly, they want to speak correctly, and never giving up and saying they can and they will. And I am their hope. In some instances, I was their only hope, so I can't give up on them. So they achieved, most of the students, I would say the large majority of the students in my midst, they did achieve.
And that's the thing, the key is you believed in them.
Oh, definitely.
You believed in them, and they knew that you believed in them as well. And most of the time, that's really what's missing.
It is.
If a person knows that they have somebody in their corner to support them, that really believe in them, they can really achieve, I mean, they can accomplish all of their dreams and their goals.
Exactly, exactly. And understanding that you might have had heat, or understanding and being comfortable with saying, we didn't have nothing to eat last night, Miss Abbott, or being comfortable with parents calling me and saying, she's trying to sit up with a candle and gloves to do her homework. This is how determined that they were, because they didn't want to let me down. No, 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 we're not going to, you know, do that. So the parents were comfortable with sharing those stories with me. And some of them will break you down.
I know. I know. I feel like I'm tearing up just listening to that, because here's the thing. I'm thinking with students going through those kind of challenges, that they would think about missing school, but they still kept coming to class.
My attendance is remarkable too. The kids came to school and they came on time. Even if they were late years before, we don't do late.
You said
we had to learn, because I told them every minute for me of teaching is so important. It's so important. Now that never did free time. I said, I don't get paid to give you free time. Because the teachers would say, we get free time. I don't get paid to give you free time. Understand, I get paid to teach you. Constructive time, like constructive, would do something constructive, like you could work on your homework, you could work on a project. Even Scrabble is constructive, because it's using letters, but not free time, where you're just going to do on a computer and play games. No.
So no free time. So did you have any other type of award systems for your students when they did achieve the levels that you had put out for them to accomplish?
Right, I did a lot of things with them. Now, I'm not one that kept a jar of candy, and every time you did something right, here's a piece of candy, no, we're not doing that. Because I didn't reward for you doing what you were supposed to do, because you're supposed to do this. But I did large incentives where I had catered meals come in. I would do lunch for everyone, though. See, some people say, all right, you're going to get this. No, we're working this together. So we have to get Timmy up here so he could be in it. If not, we were doing it together. Because I didn't believe in excluding children. Because a lot of times the children that were excluded were always used to being excluded. Like I had students say, I never was able to go on a trip, Miss Abbott.
So the school...
So I just didn't do the exclusion. But I did rewards on large levels because we're celebrating your success. But they know why they were being rewarded. This is a celebration of your, because you did this, because we achieved this.
That's good. And so that's a great segue into my next question, because the success of the show, it is incredible.
Yes.
Like I said, most of individuals that I talk to, everyone have seen this show, watched the show, and love the show.
Yes.
And so with that being said, why do you think Abbott Elementary is so nationally relatable to such a wide audience?
Because Abbott Elementary is a great representation of the community of educators. It's just a great representation. And then it's presented in the inner city. It's staged in the inner city, Philadelphia. With difficult or challenging population. And that's what we all are facing a lot within the education arena right now. So a lot of people just love it. They love it. They can relate to it. It's relatable.
It's relatable,
Right.
so that's why, because it's just not here in Philadelphia.
No, not at all.
It's all over.
Not at all. Exactly. Yeah.
It's definitely all over. And so, you know, with the show, you know how the show focuses so much on Mrs. Howard being the guidance and the mentor for Miss Teagues.
Exactly.
You know, Quinta. You know, and so in spite of the lack of support, in spite of the lack of funding, you know, Miss Teagues always had her upbeat spirit.
Yes.
But what would you say to the new generation of teachers who may be facing the same odds, where they're a part of a school system where they have lack of support and also funding? You know, because I have a niece and she's a school teacher, and there are times that we help her to produce supplies for her class.
Exactly.
And so what would you say to the new generation of teachers who may be facing the same odds like how it is in the show?
Exactly. First of all, in entering into this profession, especially, I'm not saying only in the inner city, but especially in the inner city, one has to realize that it's going to probably be a lack of supplies. This is even before you sign your name on the dotted line. You're going to have a large majority of students in your midst that are below level. You're going to have several behavior problems. You may not have parental support. And all of those are challenges. So a lot of people really have to realize that prior to going into this profession. And when you realize that and you're truly passionate about the work, like, I'm going to do this. My first year I had 36 students. Half of them couldn't read. You're talking about parents out of passion, working hard, sacrificing. It can't be done between 8 to 3. And it's still going to be difficult. Like I was asked the question, would you encourage teachers to stay into the profession because so many are leaving? Only if you are passionate about it. But if you're not, you're ruining too many children. I'm not going to encourage you to do something when you have someone else's life in your hands.
This is so good.
I'm not going to encourage you to stay. You have someone else's life in your hand. And if you're not moving them, you're not helping them even have a promise for a future. Not a promise. And a lot of people really, they don't understand the challenges that it takes in the profession right now. And everyone's not cut out for it. It's difficult. It is. And that's commend and salute all the educators, but it's difficult.
And really what I'm hearing you saying is that no matter how difficult it may be, your passion can help you to override or overcome any obstacle that may face your way as an educator. Right. Because it sounds like that was
passion and determination. I worked very long hours. I spent money that I did not have. Like if they said I didn't have food, they didn't have Instacart and all that now, you know, I would go get food, and building those relationships, and they didn't have school supplies, I'm going to get it. It's not like I had it, and I didn't complain.
Okay.
But I bought things a lot during the summer when they were on sale, so when the school year started, because I know what I'm getting into. I know a lot of the students won't have it, so I'm going to have it for them. But I would get a lot on sale.
Okay, well, Miss Abbott, listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
Because I want to find out more about this passion that drove you to be the person named behind Abbott Elementary. So we'll be right back.
Okay.
Aloha! Joe Silva here with Kukua Technologies. I'm excited to see you on Tuesdays on Morning Coffee for our tech tips.
So the school, Abbott Elementary,
Yeah.
is, we know, named after one of your real teachers, Ms. Abbott.
Yes.
From what grade?
From 6th grade.
From 6th grade.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw Ms. Abbott?
So the last time I saw Miss Abbott was probably 6th grade.
6th grade.
Yeah, it's probably 6th grade, but she was. I got to talk to her recently.
You did? Well, let's talk to her again because we happen to have her on. Wow. Ms. Abbott.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Miss Abbott. No, I'm crying.
Ms. Abbott,
Hi, Miss Abbott.
how did you
Oh
find...
my gosh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Ms. Abbott. Oh, I think she meant you.
Damn it, Jimmy. No.
How did you find out that this show was named after you?
Oh no.
Well, actually, it was confirmed one night when I was watching 6 ABC News, and they were talking about the Abbott Elementary show shortly after the pilot, and the newscaster said, Miss Abbott, if you're watching, Quinta would like to connect with you. I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
So just very honored.
Did you
I
know,
was just so excited.
did you ever imagine back when she was a 6th grade student that Quinta would one day write a show and name it after you? Oh, there you guys are together.
Damn it.
What kind of kid was she?
Thank you.
Quinta was an awesome student. When she came into my class, she was really shy, timid. But as I challenged all of my students, we had to speak in complete sentences. I built their confidence that whatever you want in life, you can do it. You have to work hard. We did projects where we worked hard to go to fabulous places, just instilling that in them, instilling their confidence. Quinta was an awesome student, very driven at that time.
Wow.
Grew out of her shell. She was really our class spokesperson. They did, one of the newspapers, the local newspapers, did an article on us, and they said we entered the classroom and we were met by the articulate Quinta Brunson.
Wow.
She's amazing.
Wow.
Just amazing.
That is, wow, what a special thing that you named this show after her. Look at how emotional you are.
I can't.
I heard you're about to retire,
Not me
Ms.
on
Abbott.
This thing crying, Jimmy.
I'm really excited, Jimmy.
I just love that episode. We just had to show that episode. That was one of my best episode of watching you and Quinta on the show together, being interviewed together. So I wanted to definitely open up with that show. But we're going to go ahead and dive right back into this conversation. Can we do that?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so Miss Abbott, you know, yesterday I had the opportunity to work down, or should I say, I had the opportunity to share goal setting down at the School District of Philadelphia building. With some of their administrators, caseworkers, directors, leaders of that nature. And so, you know, what would you say, being a former teacher, a retired teacher, what would you say to the new Philadelphia superintendent, Dr. Tony Wellington, if you could give a few recommendations about the school system today?
Okay. First of all, he has walked into a very difficult situation as far as our school district. But as far as a few words, he has a lot of powerful people down at 440. So I know when he came and he hired a consulting group, we keep bringing people from outside of our city. When we have people right there that are heavy hitters that knows the ins and outs of the school. Also, the one thing I would encourage him to do is go inside the schools, visit the schools. Not only for show, go and visit these schools, go inside the schools, because so many people that are making decisions concerning our schools, they very rarely visit. And when they do, it's a big production. They're coming. No, pop up, go on and see what's going on within our schools unannounced to get the real feel of what is going on.
Now, would you say that for all the superintendents, you know, all over America, you know, who are superintendents over their school district, you would have that same recommendation?
Exactly. Some may be more hands-on. I've been in Philly for a long time, and I don't recall too many of them one I know went into the schools quite often, but too many of them, or when they did go into the schools, it was a big production, it was announced, you know, and everyone knows. But to see the real of what goes on in our schools, it needs to just go. I want to go. Go sit in classes, go talk to some of the students, be hands-on.
Now, why do you think that's so paramount to do that?
Because you'll get a real feel of what's going on. So often when people visit our schools, we know. And I said when I did for the journalists on education, so often I told them when you come to the schools, they know, and it's it's like a show. I think to get a real glimpse of what is happening in our schools, you go unannounced, you go into classes, you sit down, you talk to some of the behavior problems, hear their stories. Hear what they want, because it's about the student, so get more of a student voice. I think he has been incorporating a lot of parents, getting their opinions, but just hear from the students and go inside these schools and see the real deal of what is going on. I would definitely encourage that.
Okay, that's good. So let's go back to education from the standpoint where you're concerned. So what was your favorite thing about teaching students? What was one of your favorite things or your fondest memories?
Just watching them grow. The way they came to me, like I said, okay, I had goals for each of my students. I set goals, okay. I need to bring Tommy here. I need to make sure this one is this. And just seeing them achieve it. At the end of the day, I'm like, yes, you did it. And I'm looking at my journal, I said, you did it. Because it was sometimes when the scores came out and I set a goal, like it was below basic and I'm trying my best. And like some summers, it might have been one or two. I said, I don't know. But when it came out, I said, you did it again. So sometimes you have to encourage yourself. And I was encouraging myself, but setting the goals and seeing them reach the goals that I set and never wavering. And never wavering. I created some bosses.
I love that. I love that. And look, and because talking to you before the show, you were telling me the success of a lot of your students today as a result of you just creating goals for them and them achieving their goals. And that's the purpose of this show. It's all about goal setting. And one thing I tell people, Ms. Abbott, is that there's no true success without goals.
Exactly.
Having goals will take you from where you are to where you need to be. But the key is you got to start setting some goals.
Exactly.
And so I love the fact that you brought that out, because I believe that is paramount. I believe that is pertinent in order to get to the next level or to matriculate to that next level. You need to start having goals, and you need to start working your goals so you can get to that next level. And I love that you worked with your students with their goals.
And they did. I had goals set for each of them. And let me tell you something, even success. Success could be one of my students, he's a trash man. He's successful. You know why? He struggled and he made it. And he's holding down a city job. College is not for everyone. And I'm just so proud, because some of these students that struggled through school, and then when they didn't have teachers to keep them encouraged, did not, first of all, even make it through high school, but now to hold down a city job. He's like, you proud of me for real, Ms. Abbott? Yes, I am.
Absolutely.
Give me a hug. You're doing it. So, you know, you meet everyone with it, and he's a trash man, but I'm proud of him. It's a success. He's holding down a city job, and he completed high school.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Through all the odds against him, family, everything, he's doing it. So I was very proud.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he was like, you're really proud of me? Yes, I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what that does for a person? It makes them to want to continue to set more goals.
Yep.
It makes them want to, because you become addicted to achievement. For you setting one goal and being, achieving that goal, and then the next one, and especially someone of your caliber to be proud of what he has accomplished. I know that was such a tremendous moment at that time.
Yes.
So that's what you would say, pretty much just seeing your students succeed to the next level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I didn't even remember him. He was throwing my trash. He was like, Miss Abbott. I was like, oh my God. So that was good. That was really good.
That's good. So what would you say, Miss Abbott, how has education have changed from when you were teaching to where we are now? How would you say it has changed?
It's a lot more technology now as far as education. It has changed in every regard. It's like the students are on the computer so much, which it had its advantages when we were into virtual. We are faced with a lot more disciplinary problems now. And you don't have as much parental involvement as when I started. And then back when I started, the teachers were in the building late. Our kids knew each other. We were there late. We stayed early.
That is
now
so true.
the parking lot is clear, and I guess maybe because of fear, but it's clear. No one really stays after school, but teachers stayed. They worked with their kids. They came in early with their students, but I don't see that as much now either.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the scores are so not that great. Hardly, because it takes a lot of time. But a lot of people are scared to come out to their cars, like in particular neighborhoods.
So what would you say that we need to do, you know, as an individual and also as a community to try to get our schools back to that place? Because it was almost like a family.
It was.
It was almost
It
like
was.
like I can remember where one of
It
my
was.
teachers, you know, if you act up, they would grab you. Like, you can't do that today.
Yeah, I never did that.
But he would actually grab you, but, you know, and the kids, and guess what? We loved him because he was almost like a father figure to us.
Right,
You know,
right.
to get us,
Our
because he
kids-
saw our potential.
They do appreciate the discipline. They really do, because a lot of teachers that let kids eat and chew gum, and you may think that you're being cool with them, but they're not really respecting that. But what I think, to answer your question, is needed, you really need teachers in the schools, and I'm going to say it again, that are passionate and determined. You could bring in as much training. I was asked a question one time, which strategies, Ms. Abbott, would you recommend, you know, so teachers could be successful in the classroom? I could recommend every strategy. I could write a manual, I could write a book. But if you're not passionate, if you're not determined, if you're not willing to make a sacrifice, it wouldn't do any good. Because you could give them the most training, you could give them the strategies, but when they're not passionate, when they're looking at all them faces in front of them and they don't believe that these kids can make it, or they're not going to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be determined that they will make it, and not feed them candy all day for just raising their hand, then it's not going to make a difference. We need passionate people. They may need to pay more. They may need to, and I don't even know if that'll make a difference. I don't even know if that'll make a difference, but we need passionate people who understand the children that they're working with, understand the communities that they are serving in, and really want to make a difference at any cost. It's just not happening.
Okay, so what would you say in 60 seconds or less? What would you say to an educator who is passionate about her students, who, you know, his or her students, but they still experience burnout?
And that does happen. I'm
Okay.
going to say I never experienced it. You have to find some type of R&R. You have to find something for yourself. But I would encourage them not to give up, but take some time for themselves. You have to find that time. I didn't always do it, but that is so important. That is so important.
So self-care.
Self-care.
Self-care is important.
Self-care is definitely important. If you're experiencing burnout, but you are passionate, because that can happen. I didn't really call it burnout.
Okay.
I didn't. I got tired sometimes, but I didn't. I just I
You just gonna keep going, yeah.
I didn't call it burnout, because I knew what I had to do. And I called it, you know, it's reaching, you know, I have a goal, you know,
Yeah.
and reaching it. And I mean, it's going to take whatever, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to achieve it. But I didn't call, I'm not going to say I didn't get tired sometimes, but I didn't, you know, get burnt out. Because burnt out, I mean, you ready to, like, look, I'm just really tired of it. I'm with it. But it does happen.
It does happen. And I love the fact that you talked about the self-care, because the
Yeah.
self-care is important. Well, Ms. Abbott, this was a great episode.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your life.
Oh,
We talked
you're
about goal
welcome.
setting, and we talked about the show. And so I have to have you back so we can continue on this conversation.
Great.
But thank you so much for tuning in to Achieve with Wanda Martin. Hey, like I always love to end my segments, hey, be safe, be great, and don't forget, be 8 all day. Hey, God bless.